and welcome to another video about old Kenner Star Wars toys. I recently talked to one of my colleagues at work about my newfound interest in old Star Wars toys, and to my surprise he revealed that he also collected and played with those toys when he was a kid. And contrary to me, he hadn't thrown them all out, and actually he would gladly sell them to me because he isn't a collector and he doesn't really do anything with them or even look at them from time to time. They're just stashed away with other stuff from his childhood. For now he has lent them to me so that I can have a look at them and see what figures there are and what condition they're in, so that I can make him an offer. Therefore this video's focus will be to have a little look at those figures and assessing their condition. Now there are quite a few figures, so I have split the video into several parts. But that also means that we will not go into much detail on each of them. Instead we will do that in one or more later videos, including lore and trivia. We'll start by opening the bag and get an overview of what we have, and afterwards we will focus on the different figures. Let's get started. So General Medine, we have Logot, Imperial Commander, I believe it Bespin Guard, Lando, not a Lando, Luke, Leia, R2-D2, can't remember that Ewok's name. Then we have Dengar, another Leia, Ninu, or how his name is pronounced. More accessories. IG-88, I think. Oh, look. Regis. Accessories. Sand People. Tusken Raider. Rebel Soldier from Hoth. And here we have a speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. Chewbacca. Accessories. And low grey. An Imperial Stormtrooper in Hoth battle gear or Snowtrooper. I think this guy's name is Hammerhead. An AT-AT driver. B-Wing pilot. A Rancor keeper. I think his head is here. And Han Solo. And Drewy McCool. Stormtrooper. Admiral Akbar. An ATST driver. Princess Leia. Wicket the Ewok. The singer from Max Rebo's band. Can't remember that guy's name. Han Solo. The Emperor and Leia and Bush disguise. Bespin guard. A TIE fighter pilot. Han Solo. And an Ewok. Tibu, I believe he's called. A Java. So here we have Bossk, the bounty hunter, and Klaatu. Here we have Max Rebo and his piano. And C-Tribute with a missing leg. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Luke Skywalker from Hoth. And Forloom or Zuckuss, depending on who you ask. Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker. Bib Fortuna. Agamoran Guard. Here we have Tribute Slick. Just get that in place. There we go. And Princess Leia from Bespin. Let me just have a closer look what's at the bottom here. There's some posters here. Oh, and a read-along book. And this speeder bike. That's it. Okay, let's start by having a look at this Stormtrooper. Okay, so there's a little bit of miscoloration on the limbs. They're not quite white anymore. And then there's a few black spots here on the helmet. And here on the leg and on the arm here. There. I don't know if those are paint marks. I guess they are because I've cleaned the figure. Okay, let's note this. So, black paint spots, helmet, arm, legs, miscoloration of the limbs. Yeah, And let's also note that he's missing his rifle. Okay, in regards to worn paint, there's a little bit here on his hand. There's a white spot there. Also a little bit on the tip of these fingers. A little bit in his right eye there. And on this black line across his helmet. Also here on this black dot on the side of his helmet. This one. So let's note that. So, worn paint on hands. And a bit on the helmet. Okay, so his limbs, well, they seem fine. No problem there. So all in all, in okay condition, I think. Okay. So here we have Chewbacca, and he's missing his bowcaster. And as can be seen, his arms and legs are a bit discolorated. They've turned a bit green. So let's note those. So, missing bowcaster and legs and arms. Greenish. Okay, let's see if there is worn paint. Don't know, it doesn't seem like it's worn on his chest belt here. And, well, there's a bit here on his bag. And his nose. So nose and bag. Now, are there any paint splatters? Not really. So a bit of worn paint on his nose and back. So, and finally his limbs. Wow, they're nice and tight as they should be. Yeah. Here we have R2-D2 from The Empire Strikes Back with the Sensorscope. And, well, I didn't wash him because of the sticker. But yeah, the sticker is worn and seems like a this whole part here is, middle part here has come off. And then there's some paint that has worn off here on his legs. And he has quite a few scratches on his dome. Yeah, and his Sensorscope is also a little worn. Okay, so worn paint on the legs and also on the dome, and then scratch marks on the dome as well. And the sticker is worn. Part of it has peeled off. I think his legs are also a little bit discolorated. Yeah, let's also do that. Okay. Right. This is Klaatu from Jabba's palace. He's missing his vibro axe and a skirt. He has worn paint on his boots and on his bottom, his hands, his shoulder pads, his nose, seems. There's no discoloration. There's a mark there. Don't know if that's green paint splatter. His limb seems to be fine. Can't turn his head. No. Okay. Missing vibro axe. That's good. Worn paint on boots, hands, shoulder pads, nose, bit of green paint splatter on his, what was it? Yeah, on his left arm. Okay. Perhaps there's a bit of a discoloration of the grey on his arms and legs. It seems like it has gone a bit green. Or it might simply be different plastic altogether, so not something that is caused by deterioration. Let's note it nevertheless. Right. So here we have Princess Leia in Hoth outfit. She is missing her blaster. So there's some worn paint here on the boots and also in the front. There's worn paint on the hair. Yeah. Little hair on her bottom. Also this com piece or what it is on her left arm. And then it seems like there's some painting mistakes with the brown paint here around her eyebrows. Quite a few dots. Oh, there's one paint here on her black thing on her tunic. There's a bit miscoloration, or at least these are not the same color on her tunic and legs. So her limbs seems to be alright. This one, no, this one is a bit loose. But only in its default position. Okay. So missing blaster. One paint on the boots, on the hair, and black thing on her tunic, and arm. Some painting mistakes on her eyebrows and discoloration in her hip area for the tunic. Okay. This is a rebel soldier in Hoth battle gear. He's missing his blaster. There's some paint, even part of the plastic has come off here on the back of his leg. But besides that, he's actually in pretty good condition. There's a bit worn paint up here. Then there's a paint mistake here. His limbs seems to be in order. There's also some hair on his chin. Can't see if there's a painting mistake or a scratch or what it is. Okay. So he's using his blaster and has, well, it's both worn paint and plastic that has come off. So like it's the left leg. Also some worn paint on the head bag thing and on his chin. Guess that's it. This is Hammerhead. Rather simple figure in regards to different colors, at least. He is missing his blaster. His limbs seems to be in order. Well, there's not much paintwork on this one, only his eyes, and they seem to be okay. So in pretty good condition, I think. I don't know if this is there's a white mark here. I have cleaned him, but maybe I wasn't thorough enough. I'll see if I can clean that away. So let's just note his missing blaster. Okay. Okay, here we have Bossk. And we have his rifle blaster. Okay, so his head seems to be fine, intact in regards to paint. And his limbs are fine. There's a bit worn paint here on his thumb, and also here, and here, and also here on the other hand, a few places, and then his tip, the tip of his toes. Paint has also worn off a bit. Here, the white has worn off a bit on his behind, on the white part. And then there's some paint, red paint, orange paint splatter. And he's a bit dirty, worn, scratched here on the back, on the white part. There's a white paint splatter here. Some dark, don't know if it's paint splatter or what. Yeah. And then this arm over here, his right arm, the yellow-orange jumpsuit seems to be a different color. than the rest of the figure. This one is also a little paler than the legs and the torso. Okay. So, worn paint on hands and feet. Then we have red paint splatter on his back, white as well. Also one paint here on his bottom. And scratches and worn on his back. And then we have the arms are a different color. Okay. Okay, here we have the Imperial TIE Fighter pilot. We also have his gun. And his limbs are fine. He has worn paints on his hands, his gloves here, on the back side as well, down on his feet, his boots, a few places. The red here seems to be intact. The emblems up here are intact. This emblem is intact, but on his right shoulder it is worn off a bit. Yeah. Worn paint on hands, gloves, and feet. Emblem on the right side, right shoulder. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So Han Solo here in Hoth battle gear, and he's missing his rebel blaster. Now the paint has worn off several places on both hands. It's worn off here on his nose, just a bit. Then there's some dirt that hasn't come off here, probably can't, on the top of his hood. Then there's worn paint here on the rim of his scarf. There's a little scratched here in between the shoulders. And then there's paint that has come off on his boots. Yeah. arms are fine. Also his head. So mainly one paint and a few scratch mark. Okay. So that's one paint on hands, gloves. Boots, scarf, nose, and then dirt on top of his hood, and scratch mark between shoulders. So here we have Lando Calrissian, and we have both of his accessories. Now let's have a look at the condition. So starting with his limbs. They're fine. So in regard to worn paint, we have his hair. That is pretty worn. And then we have his hands. They're not so bad. These shoulder pads have some worn paint. Both of them. Then we have worn paint here on his bottom, both on his trousers and on the tunic. Mainly down here on the tip of his feet, on his toes, and a little bit here on his heels. Now, there doesn't seem to be any miscoloration. Or deformities or plastic that have broken off. Okay. So we have worn paint on the hair, hands, shoulder pads, bottom, and feet. Mostly on the toes. Yeah. Here it seems we have a small, guess it's a paint error or something, some dirt. But that's the only thing I can spot. So let's just note that. So on his left leg, by the tunic. Okay. Let's just and his wiper wax here. There we go. Right. Here we have Princess Leia Organa from A New Hope, and we have her vinyl cape. So yeah, her limbs are fine. She seems to be a little bit come apart here, the front and back part of her torso. You can see it here in her neck. Oh, and here on the other side as well. It's rather obvious. Oh, there's worn paint on her hair in several places. A little bit on her eyebrows as well. And then the white has turned a bit yellow on her limbs. And, well, I guess altogether she's seems a little dirty in the white parts, but that's difficult to avoid in these old figures. There's some worn paint here on her hands, not much, but a little. Okay, let's note these things. So we have a missing blaster and worn paint on hair, eyebrows, hands, and then we have her limbs are a little yellow. It's not much, just a little. And her torso has started to come apart. At the top. Yeah. Yeah, and a little dirty. Now her vinyl cape. It has a big crinkle here. And then there's some miscoloration and scratch marks. I don't know if it's from some crayons or other figures or something. And well, it's a bit dirty here and there. Dents and wear and tear. Oh, not so much tear. The holes for the arms are a little bit deformed, but not much. And there's no tear, which is rather good because that's rather common. Let's try and put it on her. So there we go. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. This is Luke Skywalker in Jedi Knight outfit. from Return of the Jedi. So, yeah, his limbs are fine. There's a little worn paint here on his hand and on his nose as well. Some dots and markings from dirt. Some white scratch marks here. A little hair on his pelvis. Scratch mark here on his back. One paint on nose and hand, and then some scratch marks on his left hip, pelvis and upper back. Now in regards to accessories, he's supposed to have a lightsaber and a blaster. A palace blaster, which are not here. We have his cape though. Right. And that's in pretty good condition. Let me just note the missing accessories. Here we have Bib Fortuna and some of his accessories. He's missing his staff, but we have his belt and his cloak. Let's have a look at his condition. So there's one paint here on this bracer. Not so much on the other one. Just a little here, and well, a little on the hands. It's not much. There doesn't seem to be one paint here on his face. So there's some dots here and there. Not much. And then there's some don't know if it's visible, but there are some, don't know, I don't think these are scratch marks because I've seen them on another Bib Fortuna figure. There are these round marks that seem to be scratch marks, but don't know if they're supposed to be sort of a pattern on his legs, because as I mentioned, I've seen on the other Bib Fortuna I have, so it's probably supposed to be there. There's a little bit of a discoloration between his limbs and his torso. I'm not sure if it's visible on the video, but it's visible to me here. Okay, let's take some notes. So, missing stuff. worn paint on braces and a little on the fingers. And then some discoloration. Arms and legs, different color. Again, just a little. Okay. Let's put this on him. Fiddly with these tentacles. So, I guess this will have to do for now. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi from A New Hope, and well, we're missing his lightsaber, but we have his cape. However, it's in pretty bad condition. As you can see, one of the holes here have split open. The other one is also a bit stretched, and then there's this, I don't know what this is, this dirt, but it's very difficult to get off, and I didn't want to scrub any more on it because I might damage the cape altogether. And then there's a bit scratches and dents and general wear and tear on it. So having a look at the figure, there's some worn paint here on his chest and the dark part, and here on his collar. And then not so much on the hands, a little here, but there's some painting mistakes, paint splatter with the flesh color here. So his head is fine, it seems. There's some worn paint on his belt. And there's some miscoloration here with some darkness. And here, down here. So a few dirt spots here and there. Okay. And just belt and a little on the right hand, and some painting mistakes on both hands. Then we have some dirt and spots. And all his cape is torn and dirty spots. Okay, so I won't put this on him with this big tear in it. So here we have 4 LOM, or Zuckuss as is actually called. I think there was some mix-up with the names on the cards between this guy and another bounty hunter. So his limbs are fine, and he doesn't have much paintwork, only up here on his face, and it's a little worn, but not much. So all in all, he's in pretty good condition. There doesn't seem to be any miscolorations. There's a few dots here and there, here on his bottom as well, but it's not much. We have his cloak or robe, whatever you want to call it. It has a hole here in his right arm. Some tears here, also here by the neck. A few more. And here, markings. Down here. And then there's some green residue from something here. Also a little bit here. And then we also have this, don't know if it's a chest armor or a backpack, or, well, these look like bags. Don't know what this is on his back. Yeah, and well, we're missing his rifle, but yeah. Let's take a few notes. So, missing rifle. Some holes and wear and tear on the cloak. And a little bit of worn paint on his nose. Not much. Okay. Let's put this on him. Try not to tear it anymore. So this is a Tusken raider, or sand people. And his limbs, they are fine. Seems like his head is a little askew. There's some worn paint here on his belt. There's a paint mistake here with the metallic color. A little bit of worn paint here on his spikes. Here on his chest belt. And also on the hands and fingers. There's a dot here. Few dots here on his arm, here, not much. And we have his gaffy stick, or Gaddafi stick, or I don't know, it has some different names I think. It's in okay condition, a little bent I think. And this thin part up here, but not much. And then we also have his cloak. It's a bit torn in the holes for the arms, and also a bit crinkled, but not much. A few dents and scratches. Take some notes. So, cape, bit torn. Then we have worn paint on hands, belt, chest belt, spikes on his head. We have a painting mistake. Metallic paint on mouthpiece. And then a few dots and markings here and there. Doesn't look too bad. There we go. Okay, so here we have Princess. The Princess Leia Organa. In Bespin gown. Her limbs are fine. There's a bit of worn paint here on her hair, also on the eyebrows, and this rim on her dress is also a bit worn here and there, and then on her hands. Well, mainly the right one. her vinyl cape. We do not have her blaster though. So it's a bit wear and tear and dents up here at the top. And down here on the side. And then there's a few dots and markings. But else it's in okay condition. So, missing blaster. One paint on hair, eyebrows, hands, and gown. And then on her cloak we have a bit crinkled, not much. And spots, a few. Let's see. So there we go. This is Lando Calrissian from The Empire Strikes Back. He's a bit worn here on his bottom. There's a mark up here. Here on his sleeve, a bit of discoloration. He has worn paint on his hands. Both of them. And then he's worn up here by the belt. Just underneath the belt. There's a spot here as well. It's, I think scratch marks up here. Then he has worn paint on his hair and his eyebrows. Right, we have both his cape and his blaster here. This Bespin blaster. And his cape, but it's torn as you can see. Also a little bit here on the other side. And then it's a bit crinkled and dented. So we have all the accessories, but the cape is torn. We have worn paint on his hair, hands, and pelvis region. And then we have a few dots here and there. Yeah. So his limbs are fine. I'm not going to put on the cape now that it's torn.